Okay, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakak, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who teacheth the Bible in 100% truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes of Israel, especially the 144,000, who consist of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in the land of the Americas, as well as the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners living amongst the other nations. Shalom to you. Okay, just came across something I was going to bring to your attention. Um, I was just looking at this Psalm 64. I went into this on the previous video. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who sharpen their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. Says they encourage themselves in an evil matter, they commune of laying snares privately, in secret. Says they say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. And I went into this a few videos ago, either the last video or the video before, and we're in that time where obviously we keep saying that we're in the beginning of Jacob's trouble, the beginning of sorrows. So you've got this period of time now. We don't know how long it's going to be. Referred to in the scriptures as Jacob's trouble, a time of great tribulation, and eventually it's going to climax in a time like never been seen before on the face of this earth. Through all the different types of troubles that there have been before. You got in that time you've got the introduction of the mark of the beast, Revelation 13. You've got that itself involves breakdown in society, a crashing of the economy, going to a digital, cashless society economy, and then obviously after that you have got World War III, the destruction of America, the return of Yahushai, so on and so forth. So it's definitely going to be a time like never been seen before. But lately you've been seeing, they started off, well, I mean, the psyops, psychological operations, they've been going on for as long as you can remember. Throughout your whole life, you go into history books and you read of previous events. And I keep saying, like the world is a stage, so you have, everything's just part of a big play. Ultimately, I was talking to someone the other day, and I was saying to describing people in the scriptures, and the person said to me, well, you keep referring to these people as characters. Why do you keep calling this character and that character? And because ultimately, you're living in a story, and the story is what's spoken of by the Most High. It's now eventually written in word in the Bible, and so everything has to play out according to that story over the course of thousands of years. So people are out there and they think, they wake up in the morning, they think what they're going to do today, what they're going to do tomorrow, what they're planning to do next week, next month, in 6 months' time, 6 years' time. They think it's their own will, and they think, oh, I made this choice because I had this type of life, and now I decided to do this, and that's why I'm like this. And you say, well, now you're not really like that because you wanted to be like that. The Most High made you like that. You're a character within the storyline. And so that's what I was trying to explain. The other person I was talking to a few days back was saying, well, why do you keep saying character, character? I said, because this is all it is. That's all it is. So you can try to be a different type of character to what if you're told that you're part of the wicked, you could try to be righteous, but it won't work. If you're righteous, you try to be wicked. Same thing, it won't work. So, but yeah, lately, we're looking around with these psychological operations, and then you have like things like Charlie Chalk. That's quite recent. You've had obviously the situation with Trump in in America, he's come in, he's signed these executive orders, he's now got ICE, rounding up people, which is again something that I said before a few years back, that they're gonna at some point you'll have people coming, running up to you on the street and saying, "Show me your ID papers, show me who you are." If you don't give them a good answer, they chuck you in the back of the van, and that's exactly what's happening with ICE. They've got the masks. They got no identity, so they don't have to follow the constitution, and so they're just free agents above the law, able to do what they want, go out and round up whoever they want, and that's kind of like what I said before. This whole thing about citizenship. I've mentioned that many times. Citizenship, and we ain't even got to the stage where they want to issue you with the mark of the beast. We're still in the where they're initiating everything. They're putting it all into place. But yet already you get people are being asked to show me your citizenship. So that's exactly what I spoke of previously is happening now. And again, this is all worked out through psychological operation. The fact that, oh, it's the crime. Um, the crime is very bad. We need to sort it all out. We need to take over from the police and militarize the zones or whatever. And obviously the crime has been allowed to occur. We've seen that over the course of the last, say, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Crime has just got worse and worse and worse. People complaining about that. You've got the immigration problem, another psychological operation. You had the people in Africa, from Africa, sorry, in the Scottish village. I brought that out a couple of weeks ago. Some next kind of level psychological operation, and this is all pushing us towards this breakdown in society. Everybody seems to have a problem because they're creating problems for every type of group of people. And then in the UK, a few days or this week, what are we now? Today's Sunday night. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday night, um, and the week just gone by. So the last 7 days, you've had a situation in the UK where you had this. You've had an attack on a small hat on a tiny top um, synagogue in England, in Manchester. Small hat community members in Manchester returned to prayer days after the Heaton Park synagogue attack. This is Mayor of Great Manchester, Andy Burnham, and Tory party leader Kemi Bendock visited the scene while police continue their counter-terrorism investigation. So, again, this is you know I mean, I don't have to go into it too deep. We know who these people are. They run everything. They own the banks. They own the big corporations. They own the media. They're going to use this situation to claim, anti-small hat, and they're going to bring in regulations. Is going to lead us towards famine of the word. And it's not just about them in particular, because you see now tonight. So this is like what happened during the week. So this is the 4th of October. So what's that? 2 days ago. See, this is the guy they think that they reckon they've done it. You can see the small picture here on the side here. ITV News obtains first photo believed to show Manchester attacker Jihad Al Shami. So they've got this guy here. So this is what's gone on this week. And you get these little events, building up. And now today there's another one. And this one is police treating suspected arson attack at a East Sussex mosque as a hate crime. Police investigating potential hate crime after UK mosque set on fire with two people in the building. So this is 10 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 7 hours ago. So 17 hours ago. So I'm just trying to work out how far back it goes. That's like the 17 hours ago is the longest one. So what's that now? 3, take a 4, got about 8 o'clock. So, so they're reporting it from the afternoon. So this must have happened on Saturday night. So you've got pictures there. Um, and yeah, so it's funny because now you've had that in the space of a week. So Sussex, East Sussex is on the east. I think Sussex is. Hang on. Where's this? Yeah, so East Sussex is down here. You can see in the south of England, just below London. That's East Sussex. Manchester is up there, the top there. You can see it's highlighted there with the picture, basically. So yeah, so that's all in the space of a week. And then like one is attack on the small hats, and now you got an attack on the mosque. So all this immigration, all this stuff that's been going on. Now you got the digital ID. You got these attacks. I mean, I don't know what to call them. They're probably, what's the word? They're probably inside jobs, and they're probably being. It's all part of a psychological operation. We know what it is. See these events, and it's all leading us. You see how it's starting to become like intense, close together. These small events, close, one after the other. You think, like a year ago when the attempted assassination on Trump. He had an attempted assassination on him, and then even within the space of like a month, like 6 weeks, is like that was old news because everything was just moving quick, and it's like about a year later now, and again everything's moving even faster because you had this like Charlie Chalk thing like a couple of weeks ago, and even that's about 2 weeks old. It's just dead. The news is just old. After like 2 days, this is old news because you just get washed with everybody's opinion. It's just all over social media. You get to the point where you just get sick of hearing about it, whatever it is, and then it just goes. And then within the space of 2 weeks or a week, you've just had about 10, 15 different other things. So yeah, it's all back to that psychological operation. I've been into this before. First Thessalonians chapter 5 says, for when they shall say peace and safety, peace and safety, make America great again, or fix broken Britain. That's been a phrase that's been going on for a long time. Broken Britain. Say for the last 10 years, you've had this phrase, broken Britain, and you've got these particular prime ministers that come in. They get told, they get tasked with the job of fixing broken Britain. You had Brexit. As part of fixing it, we want to fix it. And then even now, people are sick of immigration, so they said, "Don't worry, we'll fix it. We'll give you digital ID." So people are in uproar about digital ID. But like I said the other day, meanwhile, they're signing £1.5 billion deals with Palantir as peace and safety, make America great again. Donald Trump, what was he, 45, 40, 46? Yeah, 45 when he was the 45th president. It was peace and safety. It didn't quite work out. He went away, he came back. He's back with peace and safety. This is all part of that psychological operation. Every, everything that's happening in the media, in the political world, in the geopolitical world, on the war scene, everything you see, the new TV is just one big psychological operation. That's why I don't watch TV if I don't have to. I watch the sport and then I switch it off. I get my obviously you can get your alternative like YouTube. You can get your alternative news channels. As long as you get the news, you know what's going on. You don't need 1,000 different programs to repeat the same information. But that's what they do. Part of that culture. You watch Sky News for 24 hours a day. You watch it. It's on 24 hours a day. You watch it for a day. You want to kill yourself because they just keep going on about the same thing, analyzing, going in deeper into it, and you just think it's just some stupid situation where a couple people got killed, two, three people. I know it's bad, but in terms of the grand scheme of it, is nothing. But again, it's back to that psychological operation. They keep putting it in your face. They keep turning it into something, what's the word? Sensationalizing it. And obviously, it's all part of that psychological operation. Now, like I say, we're in that time, and you've seen two within a week, two attacks within a week. One on the small hats. Now you got one on the Muslims. So peace and safety has to be said because of the things that are happening. The things that are happening are being allowed to happen, or they're being staged. And then the powers that be come and say peace and safety, and part of the peace and safety is rounding people up on the streets of America. Show me your ID, prove you're a citizen, or we're going to bang you up. In England, same sort of thing. You know, peace and safety from immigrants. They've got the ID card, and then now you got, like I say, you've got this. First you had Africans roaming around in the forest, claiming the land. Now you got this small hat's been attacked about 3-4 days ago, and now you got this one. It's the mosque set on fire today. So who knows what tomorrow brings? But we can trust on prophecy. We have a more sure word of prophecy, so we stick with that. So we know obviously at certain points certain things have to happen, and this has to end in a particular way. And we know that peace and safety is not going to work. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety," it says, "then sudden destruction cometh upon them." So they came in. Donald Trump told you peace and safety. Donald Trump, aka Nero, President number 47, Trump 2.0, he stepped in, and now's the time for him to give you peace and safety, and that's what's bringing the destruction, that sudden destruction, which travail upon a woman as which cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So, like I say, you see, got peace and safety. Donald Trump's here. All of a sudden, the psychological operation is becoming very intense, and it's constant, and they're just grinding you down. Don't forget. I keep saying it. Albert Pike, that letter to Mazzini, they explained it perfectly. They want to drive the population to the point of spiritual and mental exhaustion of whatever, spiritual, um, economic exhaustion, everything. And that's what's happening. Look around you. Really, you wouldn't want to sit here. If it weren't for the truth and having the spirit on you to be able to watch this stuff and then obviously go through it and break it down according to the scriptures. If it weren't for that, you couldn't sit here watching the news all day. No wonder these people don't know what's going on, because it's too much. If you're in the world and you don't have the spirit on you, and you sit there watching the world and you're trying to follow it and see where it's going to go, it's too much. You'd have to bury your head in the sand, because you'd say, well, I just can't cope with what's going on. So you'd live within a little bubble, and you'd say, well, as long as I got my job, and as long as I've got somewhere for myself to live, and that's what I want to get, that's what I want to do, and that's what people are doing. And obviously, you've got people that are like, you've got other people that are saying, well, no, we've got to fight, we've got to stand up, we've got to stop digital ID, we've got to stop the immigrants, and then, but they're just being driven to exhaustion quicker than everybody else. Um, Psalms 4 and 8, it says, I will both lay I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. It says, for thou, Yahweh, only makest me dwell in safety. So, they can claim peace and safety all you want, and especially now, entering into Jacob's trouble, especially now, entering into Jacob's trouble, the only way to get peace and safety is going to be through the name Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, which only the elect have. We give the name out, we tell people what the name is, and but it doesn't mean nothing for them because they don't have the spirit on them, so they don't use it wisely, and that's the problem with the rest of our people. Then you have like the other nations, they can't even use the name. You have the small hats. The name is terrible amongst the heathen. The small hats can't even say it. So Jeremiah 51:8 says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Is how for her. It says, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. It says, forsake her and let us go, every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So we can see that. We can sit there today, knowing that we're in Jacob's trouble. We're watching the Most High bring it to the boil. He's put all the pieces in place. We said that about a year and a half ago. We said, look, all these things are in place. But the Most High's cooking with them. He's actually cooking them. Yeah, he gave you the immigration problem. Now he's got you to bring the digital ID, Palantir involved, and he got all these psychological operations. So, Trump's in place. Trump's a big player. Like I kept saying it, as soon as Trump comes in, we enter the final scene. It's like you play the computer game and you get to the final level and you come face to face with the final boss, and that is DJ Trump, aka Nero. So he could die, during his presidency. Somebody might take over, but his administration is the one that's going to bring you the MOTB, because they're the ones that are saying peace and safety. So how are you going to have Donald Trump come in with "Make America Great Again" or peace and safety, and then the destruction comes? So how are you going to have then another man come in with another message? What is the next guy going to come in and say, okay, Donald Trump's gone now, he died, or this happened, or that happened, or this happened, or that happened. Now I'm here and I got a new message. So what's going to happen to prophecy? It don't make sense. It has to be Donald Trump, because he is the one who is pilot his whole fucking administration on "Make America Great Again," peace and safety. Then the destruction comes, not someone in between. Uh, yeah, but for all your "Make America Great Again," it says, we would have healed Babylon. It says, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven. It says, and is lifted up even unto the skies. So here comes that destruction. First of all, Jacob's trouble. The MOTB is multiple things at once. Jacob's trouble. It's a time of temptation. So really, the only people that are going to the only people that will pass the test are the elect, by not taking it. Anybody else that manages not to take it, that's not part of the elect. There was no test for you. But the Most High is still going to put the temptation out there for everybody to have to deal with it. And when they take it, it condemns them, and it just leads to, in America especially, it will just lead to destruction. So you have that with the MOTB, but then it's also the reason, the to do that, the Most High's got the elites, mindset on the agenda reset. So to bring the agenda reset, they got this wicked plan of bringing in sedition, breaking down society, crashing the economy, to bring all this about. So there goes your judgment. So the judgment goes from now all the way up until the destruction, and even beyond, because obviously the elect will get beamed up, and walls. There'll still be fighting going on in the Levant, and then the elect will be up in the sky. They'll watch the destruction for a bit. They'll watch America burn. Then they'll come back down, and then people will still have to be put into their place, and they're not going to want to be put in their place. So it these there's a lot of judgment basically ready to go out. So for all that healing that they're going to try and do, see the elite, they want to bring all that, thinking they're going to establish a new world out of that. But that's what the Most High is not going to do. He's allowed them to do. He's going to take it away from them, and then it's ultimately going to end up, the possession of the earth is going to end up in the hands of the elect, under Yahweh Shai, so on and so forth. So it's basically the destruction. The my head's buzzing. So basically, they're 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 collapsing the system, the elites, to bring about a new one, something new. But in that process, they're going to collapse it, and it's actually going to end up being totally destroyed through war, so on and so forth. So they're bringing the trouble to create something new out of it. The Most High's got the spirit on them to do that, but while that's happening, that's just giving excuse to bring judgment to everybody on this planet Earth. And by the time the Yahweh Shai comes, if you haven't, no judgment has managed to touch you, you're in some deep dark corner of the earth where judgment has not managed to reach you up until that point, and you count your lucky stars. But then what happens is that nuclear ICBMs hit America, the earth shakes and breaks, the land moves, and so then, even then you're going to still have judgment. So you're not going to be able to escape it, and that's the bottom line. This is Psalm 7 and 16. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his pate. It says, I will praise Yahweh according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahweh, the Most High. So I'll leave the link for this one in the description box if you want to just check it out. You can go into it. There's obviously more news is going to come out. But what I found is when I went to the news, I don't know how old, but you go to the news, they're not talking about it. So they've got all this stuff. Look, Manchester, so they're still talking about Manchester synagogue attack. But there's nothing about this fire, so I'm expecting something to come out in the next few days or whatever, and it's all part of that psychological operation. So I hope that's edifying. I'll leave it right there. Until next time, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.